My Happy Marriage feels similarly close to a YA novel, or some kind of fan fiction I've read back in early 2008. It's the story of Mio Saimori, a woman who has been looked down upon her entire life. She's basically in a Cinderella type story, where she has the evil stepmother who resents her for being the child of the previous wife. You have the evil stepsister who, well, half-sister, who just feels superior in every way because she is the talented one, and her big sister is nothing more than a lowly servant compared to her. All while her father watches on passively. Not that he couldn't step in, not that he doesn't have the will to step in, because he's not a weak-willed man. But he just doesn't care to, because he doesn't see anything of value in doing that, because he doesn't see Mio as anything of value, except to be married off. Because when you get down to the core of it, her family doesn't view Mio as a person, they view her as an object. An object that can be used to cook, clean, do whatever they want, or an object to be married off for whatever political benefit that might gain them. And our story opens with a situation just like that, with Mio being married off to Kyoka Kudo, a man who is not been known for his kindness. In fact, he's had several fiancés in the past, all of whom had refused to be married to such a man. So once Mio is informed that she's being married off, she's sent the next day just to go to their home and to live with them forever. Luckily for Mio though, while Kyoka Kudo is definitely a cold man, a man with a tough exterior who doesn't let people close to them and is untrusting of every single step that Mio takes, her life here actually isn't that bad. Mio immediately establishes a good connection with the house help Yuria, while also slowly uncovering what it is that has scared off everyone from the Kudo household. And it's not exactly that Kyoka is mean. He can be very blunt and straightforward, but that's because he just doesn't trust people, and he just feels that every other person that's come before has only ever been interested in him for his money. He's an incredibly handsome man as well, and these kind of frivolous things, his beauty or his wealth, those aren't the reasons that he wants to be in a marriage or that he wants to have a partner. He wants someone who can fulfill a role, to actually fulfill a part of his life that's missing. And it doesn't take him long to find that Mio is that kind of person. Because Mio is, of course, someone with a heart of gold. Which is where I come back to the point that this feels like a YA novel. Even down to the fact that what I haven't mentioned is that this is also a world of magic. Dying magic, but magic nonetheless. And the families that do have special talents, like the Kudo household, who have Kyoka, who is incredibly powerful and a leader in a military force for the Japanese government, or her family, the Saimori family, who is also well known for their talents, but Mio is looked down upon in that household because she doesn't actually possess any powers at all. She just seems to be a normal person, at least on the surface. But what she does have, even though she doesn't have powers, is the golden heart. It feels like one of those fan fictions or YA novels I'd see where you have these characters who just feel so downtrodden and lifeless, and everything's pushed them around in life, but they're able to find that one man who can bring out the goodness in them, who can make their life all happy and good. And I know a lot of you are going to hear me say that and immediately think this anime isn't for you, or that I'm not even going to recommend it, but that's the opposite of the case. I never really liked those stories when I was younger, because to me, stories and fan fictions like this always focused more on the character feeling sad and pathetic, and how great it was that they found happiness all of a sudden. And that even though they've been downtrodden their entire life, they're secretly actually the best person ever, and they just didn't know it. And surprise, surprise, magic things happen, and their life is happy forever. It always just felt kind of cheap, not really ever earned, and it didn't really have a lot of emotional depth to it because the character just ends up becoming special. It's kind of like in Harry Potter, where they're just like, oh, hey, you're actually a wizard, so we're going to take you away from this bad life, and you're going to live a great, grand, happy life. And the real emotional growth that comes from that takes books and books, if it ever really happens at all. And a lot of people could argue, as I would, that it really doesn't. And a lot of these stories, it really doesn't. The growth of the character is never really the focus, so everything just feels kind of cheap and unearned. But My Happy Marriage does something different, which is why I constantly found myself confused of how much I enjoyed My Happy Marriage, how much I really love this series. And I think that's for a very simple reason: Mio herself. And Kyoka Kudo. The relationship between these two characters and the focus the story has on trying to delve into the kinds of trauma that Mio has been dealt is very fascinating. Now, again, there is the magic world and there are family politics that'll play into every single thing that goes on with the story. There's enough drama and tension to keep you guessing of what'll happen next episode, because this isn't some slice of life rom-coms. And while I do love some slice of life rom-coms, it's nice to see something that's actually a dramatic, supernatural, romantic story. Something that really feels like it connects with these characters and allows all of them to have their own agency, especially Mio, a character who at sometimes frustratingly feels so closed off. I'm not going to get into spoilers here, of course. I'm not going to tell you what exactly happens or why, but I am going to say that this is an anime that I thoroughly enjoyed from front to back, and that this is a series that I can't wait to see more of. Of the many strengths in this story, I think one of the things that has stuck with me the most is that this series does not take long to really get into the meat of it, right? As I mentioned earlier, this is a romance between Mio and Kyoka, and from the beginning of it here, with Kyoka being such a cold, closed-off character, I was worried that it would take a while to see any kind of development in there. This would be more of a slow burn romance. But that doesn't actually end up being the case, and I love that they don't drag out this dramatic tension, that this kind of untrusting nature between the two characters isn't something that's long-term. It shows that Kyoka's cool exterior, his closed-off nature to people, can be broken fairly easily by the right person. And Mio Saimori is absolutely the right person to break that. She is a wonderful character. She has moments where she can be incredibly standoffish and shy, and that can be kind of frustrating. I've had characters like that it can be grating to hear them constantly talk about how they can't do something when you know as an audience member that they can. And you can have moments like that with characters like Shinji from Neon Genesis Evangelion. This is a situation, though, where, while that can happen sometimes with Mio, I love her thought process, and I love her own level of autonomy she has in the story, and how much she tries to choose her own path at times. It's very fascinating to see the level of autonomy this character is given. The series is also a great example of a male character that appeals to what I understand as the female gaze. Kyoka Kudo is incredibly understanding, thoughtful, caring, and is there to listen and understand and work with Mio through her problems. He's a man of action, he's professional, he's talented, but more so than anything else, he's a caring person who just wants what's best for someone that he cares about deeply, even more than he cares about what he wants in these kind of situations, what he may feel. And I think that is absolutely beautiful. The world building as well is absolutely wonderful. This takes place in Taisho era Japan, so yeah, 1920s, 1930s, maybe 1910s, early 1900s. So there are things like lights and cars and trains. People wear a lot of traditional clothes. Kudo wears a number of military uniforms that reflects his job, but he also has a number of more traditional outfits that he wears, as do most of the characters involved. In costuming, there's a mix of this traditional style as well as the Western clothes that you see other characters wear. And then you add in the magical elements onto that and how that affects the politics of this world. The animation is handled by Kinema Citrus, which is not a studio I've heard much about, but they do animate Made in Abyss and Rising of the Shield Hero, so they've got some pretty good animation talent on staff, as well as the director Takahiro Kuboto, actually being a director on Sabuki Bisco, at least for episode 7. That's actually the anime I talked about right before this, so that's interesting. I think that's kind of funny. But the animation in this show is beautiful. Again, the enhancement in lighting effects really helps, especially with these wonderful eyes. Mio has some gorgeous eyes, and she's not the only one. Eye animation is it's on another level this year, I feel. It's not an anime filled with Sakuga moments that are gonna make you go crazy like the latest Jujutsu Kaisen season, which is insane, and I'm just gonna say this here, amazing stuff going on right now in anime. But what they do, what they add to this is this sense of peace in moments here. When I first picked up this show, when I was getting into episode 1, I was skeptical whether or not I would really be engaged with this for the entire 12 episodes. Not that I wasn't already enjoying myself and interested in the characters, but I wondered if it could really hold the momentum throughout the entirety of its run. And then something happened. There's the scene where Mio goes to the Kudo family for the first time, and it's a small thing, but there's such a tranquility in these moments, a peace that made me think of the things that I love most about Miyazaki movies. The wonderful stillness of nature and the sounds of the city, the beauty in everyday life, these kind of moments that are rarely captured very adequately by an anime. Media in general, but anime more specifically, all feel like they have an allergy for moments of stillness, moments of peace, moments of quiet. But that's something that you get from this show at times, and I loved it so much. It's something that really resonated with me, that told me that there's something different in the production of this show, and I was right. I was rewarded the entire way through, because this is an anime I highly recommend. It's not flashy, it's not going to be something that's going to hit the top of the charts, but it's a well done, dramatic, beautiful romance between characters that, while not a slice of life story and not something that's going to just be an easy breezy ride, it is something that I feel is perfect to relax to with a friend or family member, or especially a loved one. It's a really cute show that you can just get all cuddled up on the couch, especially right now that it's cold, get in a blanket, and just enjoy something sweet, enjoy some drama, enjoy hating some characters who are so very hateable. They do a great job, especially the stepsister, so deliciously evil. I despise her so much, and that's actually a good thing. That's good, because with characters like that, if they can really get you into really gutturally hating that character, that's an achievement, because that's all they're trying to do, because it just makes it so much better when a character like Mio lives a happy, wonderful life. And if you want to see something like that, go watch My Happy Marriage. It's available right now over on Netflix. Netflix has a surprisingly good amount of anime that are pretty high quality. So, while Crunchyroll is definitely the place to go for all new anime coming out right now, and High Dive with some more spicier stuff, Netflix, don't undercount Netflix, because Netflix has some pretty good hits out there right now. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe and like and comment for more videos like this. Also, if next video is going to be a little vlog I recently went on a trip to India, and I had a wonderful time with my mom, met some friends. It's going to be a nice little chill vlog that I want to do next of all the footage I took there. Be sure to keep an eye out for that coming out next. But thank you again, and hope you have a great day, a great night, or whatever it is you're having. And stay rad.